Hi, and welcome back to another episode of the History of Fan Anime. I'm your host, William Chow, and in today's episode, we're going to go over some of the collectible items from one of my favorite animes, Magical Knights Rayearth. Okay, now of course that's a very popular series. In the magical girl era that sort of came out. It came in with all the conglomeration of all the Sailor Moon hype. At that time, we were also doing lots of subtitling for things like Himi-chan's Ribbon, Miracle Girls, Nurse Angel, all these sort of magical girl shows and that kind of stuff at that sort of time. But again, one of the ones that was a really kind of big fan favorite in North America was Magical Knights Rayearth. Okay, and I'm sure a lot of you fans of Magical Knights Rayearth, will have like the DVDs and collected the mangas and that kind of stuff. But today's episode, I'm going to go over some of the stuff that you probably didn't collect or didn't know that they even existed. And so I'm going to go over some of those ones because, that's something a little different, and that's probably why you're here. All right? So, let's begin. Okay. So the first thing that most people will obviously have is obviously the DVDs and that kind of stuff. No big deal. That's, there's lots of that kind of stuff out there. But one of the nicest things that I really liked about Magical Knights is like the opening theme song. And basically, the music and stuff from Magical Knights Rayearth. So the first thing I'm going to go over is some of the CDs of that. Now, Magical Knights Rayearth, has quite a number of different CDs and that stuff available for it. Okay, and I'll go over some of them here with you in really short detail, just so you know that they kind of exist, right? And what kind of music you might expect on them. Okay. So the main ones that most people will probably go over and enjoy for the TV series is, the main one here, which is the original soundtrack, which is this one right here. And and basically, it contains all the various information that basically for the original Magical Knights Rayearth and the normal type of series. And so all the essential stuff is going to be on this one here. Now, they broke the series down into several different parts. This is obviously your first part of the first season, second season, everything. But they've also made them into individual sort of chapters, CDs like this. Okay, and this basically then contains all your different sort of, various different openings, different sort of introductions. There's lots of various different dramas and that kind of stuff in these things. Different intermissions, that kind of stuff on these type of things. Really kind of neat kind of things for that for that show. The other thing I was also point out on some of these ones is that while some of them just have the story arc pictures for the back of the CDs. Okay, some of them do the same thing that they do on the TV series, where they basically do the in front of the chalkboard things like this. So you can see what they've done in that one, and of course some of them do some funny goofy stuff like this one here, where they everyone's piling on top of doing a pile on top of the car there. Okay. So that's one of the main sources series there. The second part they broke into or season 2 or whatever. They broke into the basically Magical Knights Rayearth, the first half and the second half. Okay. So they broke them into two different CDs and that kind of stuff for that one. And then of course the OVA series. They made one called With Rayearth for the OVA series. Okay. They also made a bunch of collection things. So basically the all together kind of things, mix best of collections. So they put those together into different CDs and that. So there's quite a lot of different CDs and that kind of stuff available for those things. Your typical CD is, let's see here, it's like 3,000 yen, so about $30 US for a standard CD for these things there. So yeah, it's pretty can get kind of expensive for that pile, but it's it's part of the hobby, I suppose, right? Now the next thing I wanted to pull out for the big fans of Magical Knights Rayearth is that there's this thing here. Okay, this is Magical Knights Rayearth for the Sega Saturn. Okay, so again, Magical Knights Rayearth is part of the sponsored by Sega. So therefore, their games came out for the Sega Saturn in this case. and not the Sony PlayStation. So basically, they with working designs, the same people who make Arc the Lad and Lunar, one of the probably the best anime game companies at that time, took on the task of doing Magical Knights Rayearth, and they did a really beautiful job making this action RPG. Really follows the first series of anime very, very well, and and plays it through as if you were basically playing through the story yourself, as the various different characters. Lots of cutscenes and that kind of stuff in the actual game as well. That's a beautiful piece of work. This thing here is. I know they even have like different covers. So I've got here. I have a Fu version, but they also have a Hikaru version as well, and a Yumi version. But yeah, so this is a really hard to get game now, because the fact that first Sega Saturn, there was didn't sell as well as the Sony PlayStation, so there's not as many units out there, especially in terms of the English side. In North America here, they didn't make that many extra units, or even that many copies of this particular game. And the second problem is that there really isn't any good emulators for that, because they said they've put encryption and encoding on the the DVD-ROM system, so it's making names and that kind of stuff was really, really difficult for this particular type of system. So not very many people have the ability to play these type of games unless you actually have a Saturn still. So again, that's a very, very rare thing that people have here. Okay, so the other thing, we'll continue on, that you can get for Magical Knights Rayearth, I'm sure a lot of you have, like, for example, the manga and that kind of stuff, but one of the things that is really valuable and really nice to get for Magical Knights Rayearth is the art books. Okay, so Magical Knights Rayearth came out with an art book like this, okay, for Magical Knights Rayearth. Okay, now I actually have two copies of this book. Okay, I have both the Japanese version here, and I also have the Hong Kong version here. Okay, and you can see that they did a really high quality version job trying to do both of these things. Okay, you can flip them both over here. Well, these two copies, they did a really good job putting them together. So for example, this would be the original Japanese version, and this is the Chinese version. You can see they did a really good job copying all the various different elements of that thing. Both the books are very good, nice hardcovers in design. I'll flip them both over here, and then you can see that they even did a pretty good job on the back end cover there for that. Okay. But of course, the true test is, of course, what did they do on the inside. So let's flip to a similar page on both of them here. So the true test, of course, is what does it look like on the inside. All right. So here's a page-on-page comparison of the two on the inside. Right. I mean, so virtually identical in terms of production quality and that kind of stuff on them there. So it's very, very nice work, either version that you end up getting. And of course, people always ask, well, how can you really tell the difference between the different versions? And well, obviously, the Japanese version will always contain the publishing information and the price in yen on them, usually in the back over here. That's the indication here. Japanese versions will usually contain the purchase obi strip, for example. That's how the Japanese publishers and the bookstores keep track of what they've sold and that kind of stuff, and how to reorder them out of their books. So if you can find that kind of information, that's how you can tell. Okay. Now on this particular version, the only place that they have is, of course, is the language version. The only thing on this particular version that's written in Japanese is written on the spine. Magical Knights Rayearth is actually written in Japanese on the spine here. Okay, so that's the only place that you would find any Asian characters and that kind of stuff. And then you can see that the Rayearth is written in Japanese over here. Where on the Chinese version, okay, and there you go. That's what they've done here. Now they can't write Magical Knights Rayearth either in English or in Japanese in order to make it translate over properly in Chinese, right? So what they'll do is they'll put the characters which sounds like Magical Knights Rayearth here, okay, and that's why you have this strange looking Chinese characters right here, and that's how you can tell the Chinese version over a Japanese version, or the English version, is the fact that those words will have to get translated over, unless you get them over. And of course, the Chinese version also is made by Comics World. So the next thing that obviously you have is again, those people who collect a lot of or would collect things of Magical Knights Rayearth. Of course, you have the DVDs, you have the manga or something like that. But what happens is, you're not here to watch me show that kind of stuff off here. You want to see something different, okay? So the manga I want to pull out for you for this one is called this one here, okay? This is a doujin manga for Magical Rayearth called Tricolor, okay? Now I originally ordered this one in because of Sailor Moon. Okay, these guys, if you look at the inside spine here, they make the series Moon Angels, which is basically a hentai doujinshi for Sailor Moon characters. So if you want to see all the the various girls getting in trouble and getting boboed, there we go. That's that one. For all you yaoi fans, they have also made one called Moon Gang, which, surprisingly on the cover has all the male characters, so you can kind of guess what happens to those guys. And they also make a manga called Cha Cha, okay, which is Red Riding Hood Cha Cha, which is basically hentai doujinshi for Red Riding Hood Cha Cha. So if you want to see what, I guess, furries are about, yeah. hentai furry stuff. There we go. That could be one for you there. But this one, yeah. So I ordered this one in, thought that maybe we'll get hentai Magical Knights Rayearth. You'll be disappointed, unfortunately. There is no hentai in this particular version of Magical Knights Rayearth. There are some pretty funny stories, though. I'll give them that. So the really funny part about this particular book is that they have a really funny story, and one of the funny stories is this page here. Where basically, Fu comes up with the idea that we gotta get more power, and it's like, I know, if I get more power, we'll do fusion, and then okay, so, and of course, anyone who knows Dragon Ball knows the exact joke going on there, and that's a kind of a little fun, little side story kind of a thing that happens with Magical Knights Rayearth. So it's something fun to have in your collection if you've already got all the manga for Magical Knights Rayearth. Okay, along with things like Pokemon and Sailor Moon and that kind of stuff, card collecting was a really big thing. Okay, so we entered an era when Sailor Moon cards and Pokemon cards, Digimon and all that other stuff, Yu-Gi-Oh, all came into play. Dragon Ball cards even. So of course, being a big thing for Sega and the franchise for Magical Knights Rayearth, going to Sega arcades and that kind of stuff, they made a Magical Knights Rayearth card system, okay? And unlike, for example, Magic cards or Pokemon cards, which come in a blistered pack and all that kind of stuff, a lot of the ways that they distributed Magical Knights Rayearth cards, and in this case Sailor Moon cards too as well, you got them out of a vending machine. So you basically put your money into the vending machine like a gumball machine, and then out comes an envelope like this, okay? And this envelope, of course, from Sega, of course, right, would contain a card that you'd get, and then basically you'd open it up, okay, and then you'd take out your Magical Knights Rayearth card, and then you'd put it into your collection. So then basically you would have a series of different sort of randomly done sort of Magical Knights Rayearth sort of cards and that kind of stuff, collected out from your machine, okay, for example, right? Okay, so again, you can get a numbered set of various different cards, and then again, I was interested in some of the stuff. Sometimes you can get a shiny one or whatever, and I did collect a few of them there. But it's kind of one of those fun things where if I run across the machine or run across someone who's selling them, then I'll pick out a couple or whatever. And that. So that's one of the ways that that they distributed and came out with these particular types of cards. Now, one last thing that I'll also go over, and I didn't have pulled out all of them yet, but another thing that you could buy for Magical Knights Rayearth was posters. Okay, so I did in my previous episode about posters. This is a Magical Knights Rayearth side poster. This actually came from the Magical Knights Rayearth calendar. Okay, so I actually bought one of the calendars for Magical Knights Rayearth, and of course this is one of the top pages for that. And basically, you can notice that I've actually laminated, and that's what I do with a lot of my posters. I tend to I'll take them over and I'll laminate them into a 5 mil thickness kind of UV protected paper, so that way it's got a thickness to it. It actually springs. It can take a hit or a dent on the one side without actually taking any damage. Well, of course, it's also waterproof and all that kind of stuff. But so that makes it so I can stick it on the wall, not have to worry about damage, not have to worry about it turning yellow or the tape discoloring it in any way, because again, it's got this nice thick sort of thing to it. So yeah, again, another thing that you can collect for Magical Knights Rayearth is posters for this thing as well. So. Okay, so that's just a part of some of the stuff that's available for Magical Knights Rayearth and some of the other various different merchandise that came from Japan that was available for Magical Knights Rayearth. I could probably in the time I had to pull all these different things out and find some interesting things that would be interesting to you to see. This is what I have. So again, I probably have some more posters and some. I probably have the rest of that calendar that Magical Knights thing came out, and I'm sure I think I have a set of cards and that kind of stuff from that series as well. That I have that, and maybe even a doujinshi or two that I also bought for that I haven't located yet. But yeah, so the amount of things that are available, in the past has been a lot larger than what's sort of available now, and I think that it's just partially because the time for things that are coming out is always obviously way shorter now. Because when Magical Knights Rayearth comes out, right? They knew that season 1 was going to be 26 episodes, and they had that, so they had literally a whole year to release products, get it out onto the market, and get people interested, get people to buy stuff and whatnot. And then when season 2 comes out, okay, great, we're guaranteed another year of basically producing more media, more cards, more that kind of stuff and that kind of stuff. But now in today's market, a lot of series are lucky to last even 13 episodes. That went in traditional times, that's like literally only half of a season, right? Half of a year. And that's usually not enough time to release all the products and that kind of stuff. Second thing is that the attention span of people are so short. You don't know how much you can release and how much shelf life these things have before people lose interest in them and they go on to the next anime or the next show, right? So again, it's really difficult in the modern day to make money with merchandising and that kind of stuff. So it's a slightly different market now, and again that has basically affected how people collect things now. So for example, a lot of the new animes and that kind of stuff have very little for them. Unless it's a really big franchise thing like Gundam or something that's very widely produced with a lot of episodes. Things like Full Metal Alchemist or Attack on Titans or that kind of stuff. Sword Art Online. Okay, then sure you can get stuff and get materials, get maybe art books or that kind of stuff printed and that kind of stuff for it. But if it's a really short series, which is only like 12 episodes maybe, and it's over and you don't even know if it's gonna get renewed, and who knows, it might even get canceled by episode 4, right? So you'd never know about these things. So if that's the case, then you can't make a lot of merchandise and that kind of stuff and produce anything for it. So different world, definitely, for sure, in terms of being collectible. Anyway, so what you want to do right now is you want to go down below, click subscribe, and you can get more episodes where I'm going to bring out some more cool things for you to see and some more collectible items and whatnot. Okay, so until next time, see you again.